Hello Facebook, hello YouTube, what is up everybody? This is Ruben and I'm back with another Ruben Report. Today we are going to be continuing the post long trip maintenance. Today I'm just going to be tackling a lot of the other items that I missed in the first video. We're going to be looking at the brakes, the tires, the air filter, some of the other little miscellaneous things that I was dealing with during my actual trip, like the ignition, and just giving a general overlook of the whole bike, just to see where everything's at, the fasteners, all that stuff, where my brake fluid is at, just the general things. So this is somewhat kind of, I would say, a prerequisite. Really, it is a post long trip maintenance, but I'm also at pretty high miles at this bike. I'm at actually past 7,000 miles now. I'm gonna show you guys the mileage in a minute. So just like with my 2,500 mile maintenance video and also with my 5,000 mile maintenance video, this could somewhat be the prerequisite to my 7,500 mile maintenance. So I'm gonna just tackle all those different little things. We're also going to look at the spokes as well. I got my spoke wrench with me, so we're just going to take our time looking at all those little small things. And yeah, before we get started, let me go ahead and show you guys what my mileage is at. All right. So if we would focus, please. There we go, 0.8 miles. There you go, 7,072.8 miles. So yes, we are officially over 7,000 miles. I have been riding the bike for the past 2 days or so, back and forth from work. And I didn't get any MPG numbers just yet. I always don't really count the MPG numbers from directly after a valve adjustment, mainly because during the valve adjustment process I tend to lose a little bit of gas, you know. So, but we filled it up Friday, and yeah, we've been riding it around just a little bit, back and forth to the grocery store, just running a little bit of errands. So we'll get MPG numbers later on. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started with looking over some things. Alright, so starting with the wheels and brakes, I went ahead and sprayed down the brakes with some brake cleaner, and it's looking pretty clean now. As far as the padding is concerned, I don't know if you guys can see that very well. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the brake pads on the front brake, there's still quite a bit of material left. I don't really get any noises when I use them. I have been using the back brake a whole lot more as of late, and I really ride this bike in a very conservative, laid-back manner anyway. I'm a slowpoke. But the front tire, just like with my other previous maintenances, it's looking in great shape. Obviously it's not brand new, but it has plenty of tread left. So I'm not worried about that. We saw the tire pressure in the part 1 video, so we don't need to address that. And then we'll come back to check the spokes in a moment. Back tire. Right. Let me show you guys the so you guys can see. Okay, brake pads in the back have plenty of material left. Same thing with the front brakes. I don't really hear any noises, but I definitely have been using the back brakes a lot more than the front, mainly because from my older maintenance videos, I noticed that it had so much more material, so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna start using it a lot more. And again, as well, I already cleaned the rotors with the brake clean. Now the tire, different story. So we are, again, this bike has 7,000 miles on it now. These are the original tires. And I mean, it's not bald, but it's getting pretty low in certain areas. So I would say we still got some miles left on this tire. I mean, we definitely could still go a bit of miles on this tire, but it's getting really close to being needing to replace it. All right, probably should replace it, but yeah, I don't do any crazy riding on this bike. This bike is a commuter bike. I've never been off-road. I've never done any like crazy ridiculous stuff with it, never wheelied or anything. You know, I'm a pretty boring type of guy, pretty boring type of rider. You know, I'm just here to get to and from where I need to go. So showing really great durability, 7,000 miles so far, and I don't know, we'll just keep on riding it. I don't want it to get completely bald, but I'm sure I can get some more mileage on that thing. Okay, next what we are going to look at is, we should look at the brake fluid and also the spokes. So let me get out some tools to open up the reservoirs, and we'll take a look at that. All right, starting from the rear brake cylinder here, or the reservoir here, we're at a very good level. Looks good. It kind of looks the same that it did during my last service when I checked these. So everything's looking pretty good. So it's good there. We're going to look at the front ones here in a moment. All right, here is the front cylinder. Level looks good. Color looks good. So we're going to go ahead and put that back. That looks like it's good to go. All right, so as you guys may have remembered, during my actual trip, on the way back home, so this was part 2, I was stopped at a gas station. I was trying to put the key into the ignition, and for some reason it wouldn't turn over. I pulled the key out, saw it was bent a little bit, bent it back, and ever since then my ignition was kind of wonky. I'm gonna replay that clip back. Hello everyone. This little clip here is at about 21 minutes into my road trip video part 2 from coming from Los Angeles back home. As you guys see here, I was having trouble wiggling around with the ignition there. I later found out, once I pulled my key out, I saw that it was bent, and I bent it back, and then I was able to move the bike out of the way to be able to allow other folks to fill up and whatnot. But ever since then, the ignition still was sort of wonky. I still had to kind of fiddle with it to get it to work. So I was doing, so after coming back home, I was doing some research on what type of solutions I could come up with to get this ignition, lubricated up. And a lot of the information I got was that you want to use something like a silicone base type lubricant for locks. And so I found this. Okay, I found this at the hardware store. I actually had this in my garage from a while ago, but I remember I used this on something else and sprayed some of this into the lock. I also put it in the other locks as well on the bike, and it seems like it just did the trick. I'm able to go back and forth just fine. Yep, bike comes on, goes off, goes on, goes off. Yep, so that's fixed now, which is great. Okay, next we will look at the spokes. Alright, so from my last maintenance video, the way that I like to do things, I don't have a chewing stand, neither do I have some fancy balancing type of technique. I just check the tone of each of these. So like this one is really low, that one's more high pitch. So yeah, this whole wheel is going to have to be adjusted, but no worries. We just want them to be, we do want them to be at a decent tension, but not extremely tight, obviously, and we want them to all sound the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and work my magic, take my time, trying to tune all of them to the same tone, and we'll see the results afterwards. All right, so with the back wheel, it's sort of a different story. They all pretty much sound the same, but they're all a little bit higher pitched. But they all pretty much sound the same. So that's a really good thing. So you know what? I'm actually gonna leave the back tire alone. Yeah, it seems fine. It's not super high pitched. It's fine. They all sound pretty much the same. So back tire is good. We're going to move on to the next item. Alright, so the next item is the air filter. Taking it out is not too challenging. You just got to take off this little side panel here, and then there's 1, 2, 3, and then there's another screw back there. Hope you guys can see it. Sorry. 4, and then 5. Panel looks like that. You guys can see it here. Yeah, so panel looks like that. You got 5 screws that you got to take out. Not too difficult. And yeah, air filter looks like it's due for a bit of a cleaning. So I'm gonna wash this off, let it dry, and then we'll while it's drying, we'll get to the other stuff. Okay, I got the air filter nice and clean. This thing's pretty much like a sponge, so you really gotta wring it out. As you can see, there's still some moisture, some water droplets going on the floor. So what you can do, just to make it dry out faster, you can unscrew it, because it's a lot of different pieces like put together. So you can unscrew it, lay it out in the sun to dry. Especially if yours is it's really dirty, you could take it apart and do a bunch more better deep clean. I myself, again, I don't do any crazy off-road riding or anything like that, so I'm not in muddy situations or really dusty areas. My filter looks pretty much just fine. Wring it out nice and good, let it sit in the sun for quite a few hours. All right, and then you can put it back in the bike. Okay, so the next thing I want to take a look at will be the coolant. Coolant level is low, so we are going to put some more coolant in the bike. Alright, coolant is now at a good level. So, let's see. Next, I'm going to take a look at my little list. Alright, next we're going to check what our spark plug is going to be looking like. So I got my spark plug socket, and we're going to get this off. Alright, we got the spark plug out. It's looking pretty decent. You guys tell me what you think. It is, please focus, please. Please focus. It is an iridium plug. So, and it has, I want to say, about 5,700 miles on it. 5,800 miles on it. It's been a long time. But it looks good. Alright, so now that that is done, we can just take a look over the bike just in general to see if all the fasteners are there and just to see how everything is looking like cosmetically. Obviously my bike is stripped down or semi-stripped down. I don't have the fairings and things of that nature on it, but I just want to check and make sure everything seems to be there as it should. So we'll just take a look around and see what we got. And okay, I am missing that bolt. I took these out to remove the filter, so don't worry about those. I didn't have this one in there anyway. Alright. I am missing that bolt. Don't know where that one went. Alright, okay, well, it just looks like 2 bolts are missing. Everything else looks like it's fine. I guess one of the last things I can do is just to make sure that electronically everything works. One moment here. Let's see. Okay. So as I stated before, my other post, my neutral light still doesn't work. I'm gonna have to investigate that some other time. The bike still turns on, it just doesn't turn on from neutral. You have to pull the clutch in first and then press it. Weird, but that's just how it is. Alright, but anyway, we got lights. Okay. And then we got high beam. Okay, high beam works. Both flashers work, and let me make sure that my brake light works. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. I think I covered everything. I was sort of just kind of going off of the 5,000 mile maintenance chart along with one of the other miscellaneous maintenance charts. I'll probably put a screenshot of it after we're all done. Yeah, so that will be the end of part 2 for the post long trip maintenance. The bike seems like it's in pretty good shape. If you guys found this video helpful or have your own little comments or maybe suggestions on why the neutral light is not working, go ahead and let me know. Otherwise I'm just gonna tinker around with it one of these other weekends. It's not an issue that is extremely pressing. It's the bike, obviously it still turns on, it still goes into neutral. It's just, yeah, the light doesn't come on. It's not that big of a deal, but I'd still like to figure out where that issue may be. Okay, well, until next time guys, stay fit, safe out there, and peace.